Motivation lasts 5 seconds, so if you're watching this and you're looking for motivation, you came to the wrong place. But you came to the right place for actual information that's going to help you stay motivated. We noticed that 96.9% of you guys are not subscribed, and 3.2% are. So to the 3.2% that are, we love you.
For the 96.9% of you who are unsubscribed, we would love it if you would join us in this very, very meaningful conversation. That is our mission and our life's work. I think motivation is a bankrupt concept, just like willpower.
So I'm gonna get really real with you guys. When I was 320 pounds, I was motivated for like 5 days, and then it left me, and it just was hard, and it got harder. And it was like, what was I gonna do now? I still had 120 pounds, those are 140 pounds to lose, and it felt like it was gonna take forever.
Well, and that's the story of everyone. The reason why people do stuff is really interesting, and that's really what we're going to talk about in this video today, is why do people actually stick to it and get success, and why don't others? So the reason why people stick to something is because they're connected to their why. Your why is the reason. Like if you're coming from a place of fear, you're going to be acting out of a certain kind of motivation, and it will be short-lived. If you're doing it out of deprivation, you'll be doing it and it'll be short-lived. But if you're doing it because like you know it's the truth and it's part of your value system, and you're convinced that it's absolutely the way, then you're going to be way more committed. And your why and your commitment go into fueling the motivation. Did you want to talk about anything more regarding how important the why is? Because we've seen it in our members. Like their why is strong, and the ones who have alignment with their why are the ones who succeed time and time again. So I'd like to know, what is your why for losing weight? What is your why for staying healthy? Because when you know your why and you live your life aligned to it, you are unstoppable.
So being consistent is something people think they need motivation for. And being consistent is showing up for yourself. And the more you show up for yourself every day and constantly do what you say you're going to do, you gain a certain level of confidence that then creates these amazing habits that kind of become like brushing your teeth. And I really mean that. And some people, it feels so far-fetched to think that they could see working out as something like brushing their teeth, but that's how I feel like you and I see that now. And we make it a priority, and we probably stress about it a little bit too much sometimes if we can't get it in.
Sure.
But just like anyone, you'd stress out if you couldn't brush your teeth. You'd be like, oh no, I'm gonna get
weird
cavities.
Well, and you have a weird feeling in your mouth, and your breath smells different.
Imagine how your body feels when
Yeah.
you don't work out.
Right, well, it's exercise, but it's also about choosing things, preparing, I think planning and preparation. It's about knowing what your sabotage patterns are and working to prevent those from overcoming your why and your commitment. And consistency is absolutely required when you want to create a new life for yourself. That's why diets don't work, because it's like a period that has a beginning and an end. And when you're living a healthy lifestyle, it's like on a continuum. It's like for infinity. And that might sound really heavy for some of you, but actually it's really what we do. We teach people how to learn to live a lifestyle they love, that's delicious and abundant and amazing, and consistency is absolutely required. And I've been studying habits for like 3 decades. I'm totally obsessed with it, like the architecture and anatomy of habits and how they get created and how they are sustained and how they can be fun. And there's all of these nuances inside of it. That's why in our program, it's not just diet and fitness. It's about so much more. It's about your heart, it's about your mind, it's about your life. Because if you're kind of slacking off and not motivated here, you're probably not motivated somewhere else too, right? There needs to be a balance.
One thing that I think is really important is, so like I said, when you're consistent and you actually show up, then you have this confidence about
that's
yourself.
Right. That's exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I wanted to remember, because I hear from so many people who are either want to take our program or who are in our program. It's like, I don't trust my body anymore. I don't trust myself to lose the weight this time because I've tried so many times and I've failed. So I really wanted to highlight that point that you brought up, because when you build trust and confidence with yourself that I have the capacity to follow through, I have the capacity to succeed in small steps every day, it is such a huge game changer for your life. Because if you have confidence to step into your power and your health, like that's going to bleed into your finances, your relationships, your career, your parenting, you being a great neighbor, whatever it is you're up to in life. It's so powerful. Which leads to our next point about motivation, the reason why people do things, the reason why we do things is because we're convinced they're the right things to do. And so education is so key. Like your parents probably didn't tell you how to eat and move your body and cope with your emotions. Your doctor certainly isn't in his business model, nor did he learn it really in school much. Like he was, got I think 1 semester of nutrition, if I'm not mistaken. And your schools aren't teaching you. So how are you supposed to know what to eat, how much to eat? How are you supposed to know what to do with your body, how to move it? You have to actually find out the information, and you have to take full ownership of it. And when you're convinced, right now, I bet you're living in certain ways that you're convinced are the right things to do because you've learned something. Penelope's learning all kinds of things. Maybe I taught her, but she actually is learning them again through other things. And she's like, oh, Mom, we have to do this now. And I'm like, yes. I like pinch myself. Is this really happening? But knowledge is power, and no one can take that away from you. And so I've spent the last 3 decades studying nutrition and health, and I'm in a phase in my life where I just want to share it all with you on this channel, in our program, with my daughter, Penelope, because we've had a struggle. I mean, we've lost over 240 pounds combined. My mother struggled with a compulsive eating disorder, and we know how complex it is. It is so big. I mean, that was like a pun, unintended, but kind of fitting. It's really important that you learn the right things to do for you at this phase in your life. And in Step It Up, in our program, we meet you right where you are so that you can learn what your next step is. And then we support you so that you can successfully accomplish that. If you want to learn more about our program, be sure to click in the link in the description. And we'd love it if you would subscribe. We know that over 90% of you are not subscribed, so please subscribe because that would mean a lot to us. And don't forget to like and share and stay motivated, but from a position of knowledge. Stay motivated from a position of understanding what your why is and from building trust. Now, it'll work if you do it that way, don't you think?